I want to show people this is possible, not through YouTube, not through recordings. I want to go on the road for 122 days. And I want to do a city every day. I just bought a 40-foot, $600,000 tour bus. Monster Energy paid for it, by the way. Shout out to Monster Energy.
I'm so glad that worked out, by the way.
It worked out, dude.
So what happens when people like you get together with people like that? You guys will move absolute mountains.
Welcome, everybody, to the Chris Harder Show, where we are making you unapologetic about your pursuit of success, knowing that when good people like you make good money, they can then do great things. My name is Chris Harder, and several times per week, I will bring you epic guests, solo episodes, and every single tool, trick, and skill set you need to grow your business, grow your money mindset, and to grow your wealth to levels that you have never reached before. I've ended up in a unique place in life where I've got the experience, the connections, and all of the secrets that it takes to be successful. And I'm lifting the curtain to reveal it all to you in an effort to help put you in a position of abundance so great that you can then be as generous as possible. So let's lock arms and let's get started.
Pace, welcome to the Earn Your Happy Show. You're on Earn Your Happy and
The Chris Harder Show.
Yes.
Yes. So we have so much fun getting to interview people at the same time. And we've spent all morning actually listening to you on different podcasts, which was so much fun. So thanks for giving our workouts tons of motivation and inspiration.
I love it.
I was ready to go buy all the real estate by the end of my workout.
But what's so cool about you is how diverse you are. And so on this podcast, what we really want to talk about is not only real estate investing, but really how you think and what makes you tick. And we're excited to dive into that.
Yeah, I want this to be the episode that, there's so many out there where they can learn from you the intricacies of, real estate investing, that type of thing. I want this to be the episode where we touch on that stuff. But if somebody really wanted to know who you are and what makes you special, this is the one that they would tune into.
Very cool. This will be a unique one then.
Well, fingers crossed. So in that vein, I wanted to start somewhere really special because I followed along in the story. And that is the story of Maddie.
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool.
I think it is one of the coolest things that I have seen on social media in years. I have a hunch it has to do with the 109 city tour that you're about to embark on.
Yes, sir.
Would you start by telling the story of Maddie and how that happened?
Yeah, it happened a long time ago. I had a brother that killed himself, and my brother struggled with homelessness and drugs and all of that kind of stuff. And actually, if you even go back further, my older brother probably will never watch this podcast, so I can tell you guys some stories. Come from a 12-person family, 12 kids, mom and dad on top of it, 14-person. So I'm number 3 out of 12 kids, changed a lot of diapers when I grew up. And my brother Corbin would idolize my brother Chance. And Chance would go sneak out like 16-year-olds do, but Corbin was like 12. So my brother Corbin would sneak out with my 16-year-old brother, and he started drinking. He started doing stupid stuff. Me, on the other hand, I've never drank or done anything in my entire life, but Corbin just fell into that vein, fell out of high school, fell out of everything, got into drugs. My parents really struggled trying to keep him on the straight and narrow path. And long story short, I couldn't find him. Like, the family couldn't find him for years. And when I finally found him, I was 21. I just come home from Korea, and he was in a Taco Bell drive-thru. He was handing me my food. I was like, "You're my freaking brother. What? Where have you been? My whole,
Yeah.
So I get him off the street, get him a good job, fly him up away from where his bad environment is. Cause you guys know, you guys run a mastermind, you know how these things work. Your frequency is dependent upon your environment and the people you hang out with, right? So I got him away. And 2 years sober, 2 years clean, a girl from his previous life found him, drove up there, got him back onto drugs, and very quickly he fell back on the streets and ultimately killed himself. So he was my brother that I shared a room with my whole life, like very important person in my life. And I even named my first daughter after him. And I always promised myself, I'm like, I'm going to do something about that epidemic, that problem. I'm going to do something with it. When I get really good at real estate, I'm going to figure out how can I help those people that are somewhat forgotten and give them a different pathway. So long story short, I mean, I could make a long story very long, but I ended up getting a TV show on A&E back in 2022, and they ordered 6 years of this show. And this recently in January, They ordered another 30 episodes and I turned them down. Wow. I said, I don't really flip houses. Yeah, I do flip houses. That's like one of the small businesses I own, but I really flip people. Yeah. Like that's really what I love doing. I love flipping people. And they're like, what the hell does that even mean? And I said, I want to work with like attorney generals. I'm really good friends with like 15 attorney generals around the country. And they all know they have homeless problems. And I said, I want to work with them, find a pocket of where homeless people kind of hang out. And I want to go to them. And I have this weird idea for a TV show where I grab like 200 of them. I interview them because I don't want to have the whole show about drug addiction and like mental illness. Right. I want to go find the people that are just struggling to survive. They have a job. Maybe they're like work at Target, $18 an hour, and they have 3 kids. They can't survive. And through this process of interviewing attorney generals and what state I was going to move to do this TV show, I ran into a charity called Family Promise. Family Promise, all 50 states, what they do is they help families who have jobs. They're working people, but they're sleeping in their cars. And I learned a really crazy statistic that 1 in 30 kids in America sleep in their parents' car.
What?
1 in 30? 1 in 30. Yeah, it's crazy.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's either they sleep in a car or they sleep in like the gym or they sleep in a church or they sleep in something. They don't have a house.
They're unhoused.
Wow.
They're unhoused, yeah. And so I'm like, I want to make a TV show about that. And A&E's like, well, how? And I go, I want to show people how to get real estate the way I get real estate and get these people into these houses and have them cash flow. And they're like, oh, it's too hard. It's impossible. I'm like, okay. And we fought back and forth. And finally I just said, the universe is going to deliver something to me and it's not going to be through you. And I severed my contract with A&E this year. And 2 weeks later, I get an email from a lady named Maddie. The universe is like, here you go. You want to do something cool? Here you go. Maddie sends me an email. Hi, I'm 59 years old. I've been on the street since I was 55. My husband was murdered and I was a stay-at-home mom, never learned how to make money. And I have, friends that told me they were going to help me, but I come from a background. She's black, half Asian. She's about 4'5" tall. And she doesn't have the environment that you and I have. Like you guys are going to hang out with your families today. Yeah. I'm going to go hang out with my family. She doesn't have that. So she says to her friends that say they're going to help her, we know your husband's dead. You don't have any income. You don't know how to make money. You're a UPS driver. You can't afford the rent where you're currently living. Stay with us. Things get chaotic. One thing leads to another. She sells her car. She sells her this. She sells her that. And she says, well, I'll just stay on like a park bench one night. Just one night, I'm going to stay on a park bench until I figure this out. And that one night turns into 4.5 years.
Wow.
And she, from her little broken Obama phone, it's an Obama phone, meaning she got it in 2020.
When they're handing them out.
Yeah, when they're handing them out. This thing's the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen on the planet.
And that's the one she's still using today.
She still uses it to this day. And which goes into like the next thing I'm helping her with, which I'll get to. Is this interesting to you?
This is amazing. Okay. Yes.
Because I could talk about this all day long.
No, go for it.
It's like the thing that lights me up right now. Because it's one thing for me to make millions in real estate, but it's another thing. It's like, if I really, truly understand it, I should be able to educate a third grader, right? I should be able to dumb it down so well that anybody could do what I do if I truly understand it as well as I say I do. So she's, in her shelter, the Windermere Hotel in Mesa, Arizona, 2 miles away from me. She sends me an email not knowing I live in Mesa, Arizona. And she says, hey, I'm sending you an email. I saw your email on one of YouTube, on Grant Cardone. Somehow, some way, Grant Cardone had some screenshot with my email address on it.
Crazy.
And it's on Grant Cardone's Grant Cardone's YouTube channel.
Wild.
Crazy.
She screenshots it, sends me an email. Will you help me? I have 20 days left in the shelter. And these shelters, they have 90-day programs and they try and get you jobs, right? And if you can't get a job, they kick you out. The problem is these jobs nowadays, you can't afford a place to stay, a car, or this. You need 2 incomes nowadays, right?
For most people. Way too expensive.
It's gotten way too expensive. So I reply back and I said, I would love to help you, but I want you to understand I'm not helping you to help you. I'm helping you to show everybody else on the planet that they can do this too. So I need you to sign a media release and we're going to hang out and I'm going to film everything we do. Me picking you up, me dropping you off. I'm not buying you lunch. I'm not buying you anything. I'm not giving you $1. I'm not doing any of the work for you, but I will teach you and I will guide you and answer questions for you as long as you agree that they can all be recorded, because I just want to give it away to the world. Well, dude, this lady is like a gift from God. I go pick her up at 7:00 in the morning on a Saturday morning. She's the funniest, most joyful little spark. Like her and I become really good friends. She sends me like sweet messages, and my wife really sweet messages. The fact that this lady is on the street, and if you end up getting to meet her one day, you'll go, how do you get on the street? You're not on drugs. You don't have mental illness. You just didn't have the support, or more, a better description would be you just didn't have the right education. So what I did is I spent a day with her, and I kind of just got to hear her story. Why are you on the streets? What's happened over these 4 years? Tell me about the system. Tell me about your shelter. And she drove me around, and I just saw like the lay of the land, and filmed it. And then the next day I gave her a game plan. And the game plan was this: you are going to find a real estate deal for people like me. So you don't have to buy it. You're just going to find the deal, and you're going to bring that deal to somebody who's buying, fixing and flipping, renting, whatever they're doing on the back end.
So she's just identifying opportunity.
She's just identifying opportunity. So she's doing this from her cell phone, her broken Nokia. Like, you press the screen, it takes like 5 seconds to reply.
Wow.
Like, to respond. The screen is so bad. So she goes into a free Facebook group, and she finds wholesalers. I tell her what Facebook groups to go into, what activities to do every day. And I tell her, limit yourself to 30 minutes a day. And if you do this for, 75 days in a row, these activities, you're going to make $5,000 on not having a license, no experience. You don't have to buy the deal, and you're going to have $5,000 in your pocket. Took her like 8 days.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Did she believe right away? Did she?
She did.
Okay.
Not even a question in her mind. Like, it's almost like if she is on drugs, it's the drug of optimism. I've never met somebody so positive in my life. And it's weird. I wish it was not that way. I wish for the story, I wish she was a pain in the ass. And I wish that there was like a negative component of like, yeah, you have a bad mindset. She doesn't have a bad mindset. She has an incredibly positive mindset. And I've been hanging out with her now for 4 months. And so the first deal I told her, we're going to find a deal for somebody else.
Yeah.
So you have no responsibility of flipping. You have to deal with contractors, like all the bullshit that people have to deal with on all these, the things that scare people of getting into real estate. Let's eliminate all of that. And all you have to do now is find a deal for somebody like me. So she finds somebody in a Facebook group that has a deal. She takes that deal to a buyer. Buyer buys the deal. She gets paid a $5,000 fee.
Wow.
Okay, this is what's interesting. So she calls me up. She goes, I got a deal. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Everything you said was true. I thought you were full of shit. I'm like, okay, cool. When does it close escrow? She says Friday. Great. Pick her up on Friday from her shelter. And I'm thinking she's going to get a check. Now she can get out of the shelter, and we can get her into a hotel or whatever, and she can move on to her next deal, right? She now has the ability to make like $5,000 a week.
Yeah.
Right. So pick her up, go to the bank. I send her into the bank. I sit in my Prius on the outside. I'm like, I'm not going to get involved in your shit. You go do your thing. I'm not, I'm not going to be there when you're depositing your money. She comes out 3 minutes later. She says, they won't let me deposit the check. They think I'm scamming them.
Oh,
well, I thought it was a racial thing.
yeah.
I'm like, you sons of bitches. Like, how dare you, And I walk into the bank. I go, hey, sir, what's going on? He says, Maddie, do I have permission to show him your screen? And they turn the screen, shows me her account has been negative for 5 years.
Oh,
like this lady has not had cash, access to cash, a debit card, nothing in 5 years.
And you walk in with a check for $5,000 out of the blue.
What do you think they're going to think?
Yeah.
So I had them call the title company. Title company verifies the check is good. They release the money, and they give her basically $100 in cash and go, this is all we're going to make available for like 30 days. So now what does she got to do? She's got to go back to the shelter. Okay. So I take her back to the shelter. And this is the first time I've like waited to see what happens when you drop somebody off at a shelter. Normally I just drop her off at the bus stop, or I drop her off at the shelter and I leave. But this time I just was like watching what goes on. I'm looking in my rearview mirror, and I can see they make her strip all the way down naked, completely naked, right there in 110 degree weather. They're under a tent that they has like some privacy stuff, whatnot. And they go through all her stuff. I'm like, this lady just figured out how to get a real estate deal without a bank, without experience, without a license, without this. And she's being forced to basically strip naked to go into a shelter where she has no privacy. She's on a cot, like literally like an army cot in a room, like 5 times the size, with just a bunch of women. She showed me photos of him. Like, it looks like a prison. But thank goodness we have them in Arizona. Arizona's like surprisingly is really good about this stuff. So she then sends me a text. She's like, please don't ever watch me go into that shelter again. I cried myself to sleep.
Oh.
My friend Pace had to watch me go into the shelter. And she's like, I just am so embarrassed, blah, blah, blah. And I go, sweetheart, don't even worry about it. We're going to go look for the second deal. She goes, I think I already found it. Like she's just on it. She's just on it, bro. Like,
Wow.
never,
Despite the circumstances.
despite all the circumstances.
If anyone was going to sabotage or say, hey, I can't do it, it'd be her.
It would be her. You would think she would have every excuse and every victim mentality under the sun, and she didn't. And so the next deal, this is the game plan I gave her. I said, I'm going to work with you on your first 5 deals. Your first deal, we're going to get you something where cash gets in your pocket and you can duplicate that the rest of your life. Every week you can make 20 grand a month for the rest of your life. I will take you from being homeless to $250,000 a year without any experience in less than 30 days. And she's like, okay, cool. And now here she is, this little black lady, 59 years old, cranking out a deal a week. Freaking awesome. Second deal is I'm going to get you into a house that you own and that the rest of the house pays for all your bills. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, so for your audience, anybody that's not interested in real estate, I'm sorry, this is going to be a real estate jargon.
That was
This is
great.
great.
Okay, so the thing that's kind of taken over the real estate world right now is something called co-living. What is co-living? Co-living is where non-HOA, definitely not Scottsdale where you guys live, because you guys are in hoity-toity land. And same thing with me. My neighborhood would not allow it. But non-HOA neighborhoods, this is taking the whole country by storm. It's called pad split. So you take a single family house. Let's say it's a 4-bed, 3-bath house. You take out the living room, turn it into a bedroom. Take out the garage, turn it into 2 bedrooms. Take out the dining room, turn it into a bedroom. You now have an 8-bed, 3-bath house.
Wow.
Okay. This is happening everywhere in the country, everywhere. It's overwhelming. If you guys go to padsplit.com, your city already has hundreds of these. And basically what it is you take the model of like student housing where you rent a room and you then apply it to adults, working adults. And you go, you want to have a $850 rent, including utilities, including internet, including weekly cleaning. You can rent out one of these rooms in a house.
Wow.
So I told Maddie, I go, we're going to find you a house that you can buy with no money out of your pocket. You can take over somebody else's payments. Okay. This is what I talk about, which is sub 2. You can buy their house sub 2. You move into the house, no money out of your pocket, rent out the other rooms. They pay your mortgage. She's like, that ain't happening, Pace, this, that, and the other. It's not going to happen, but I'm going to do exactly what you told me to do. Dude, for date night, no joke, 3 weeks ago, I text my wife. I go, hey, are you cool to go to a shelter tonight for our date night? She's like, yeah, whatever. I'll go to a shelter, right? I take my truck. My wife's like, why are we taking the truck? I go, because we're picking up Maddie from the shelter and she's moving into her very first house. She just bought a $580,000 house.
No way.
We took her from the shelter. So homeless to homeowner in 30 minutes. She's moving into her own house. And now she's renting out the other 7 bedrooms and she's net cash flowing after her mortgage is paid, after her cleaning's done, after her utilities, after taxes, after insurance. She's netting $2,000 a month in her pocket.
Oh.
And I'm just like, why can't we do this for everybody?
Yeah. Yep.
There's 17 million vacant homes in America. I don't know if you guys know this.
No,
it's
that's
like
wild.
There's so many vacant homes in America. It's ridiculous. So
like vacant, or
vacant.
maybe people own multiple properties and they're sitting vacant.
out of the 17 million, only 5 million of them are like vacant for like a second home.
Okay.
The other 12, it's like 11 million some odd thousand are vacant. People don't even know who owns them.
Wow.
Abandoned, inheritance, probate, people died. They don't know what's going on, that kind of stuff.
So that could house 60, 70 million people using the cohabitation.
Yeah.
living
And you
just
think
described.
about like how many people are homeless right now? 600,000. Yet there's 11 million vacant homes.
Wow.
How is that possible? So look, I'm a capitalist. I like to make money.
Yeah.
I like making money. But at the same time, like I want to go actually do something cool. I don't want to feel like a piece of shit every time I make $1. I want to do cool things and like impact people. So the Maddie thing has been really fun because 3 weeks ago, this lady moves into a, nearly $600,000 house right up here in Phoenix. And she already has 7 roommates and she's making more money she's worked at Waffle House. She's worked at IHOP. She's worked at UPS store. She's worked as a UPS driver, Uber, Lyft. She's done all the things. And she's like, I make more money with this one house than I did in any of those jobs, which is freaking so cool. And the fact that it's one thing for me to have a big portfolio. Like we've got about $500 million in real estate in our portfolio, but I would literally throw all of that away to just duplicate that every single day for this lady.
Which you're about to do.
Yeah, it's fun. And then we recorded every single step she did, every activity she like took, and we're just giving it away.
Wow. So for somebody who's like, okay, but Pace, you were with her, you were kind of
Recording her, yeah.
And then what have you done to be able to duplicate that for people who are like, okay, I want to do the exact same thing? What does that look like?
Great question. So for people that are like, well, you were with her. Guys, I remember like a month and a half ago, she was like, hey, they haven't released my $5,000 check yet. Can you buy me Windex? And I said, kiss my ass. I'm not buying you anything. I promised you I would help you and I would guide you, but I'm not going to do the work. I'm not going to buy lunch for you. She's like, but I don't have Windex at the shelter. I need Windex. I'm like, figure it out.
Yeah.
Like if people watching this think that I helped you, they're going to go, oh, I can't do it.
Yeah.
She had Pace. She had Pace. Of course she could do it.
Yeah.
She got Windex.
She got Windex. And I'm not joking you. I was doing a YouTube live last week. I had like 4,000 people on this YouTube live. And this guy goes, yeah, of course Maddie could do it. She had you. I'm like, bro, blocked. See ya. Like this whole victim mentality. People will always think that I did something for her, but I recorded every minute. We have over 120 hours of recorded content nobody will ever watch, but it's there to give it away. And so here's what I'm doing. This is like the wild lunatic in me. I said, I want to show people this is possible, not through YouTube, not through recordings. So I went to my wife and I said, hey, I want to go on the road for 122 days. And I want to do a city every day, a new city every day. And I want you to pull the kids out of school. We're going to homeschool them on the tour bus. I just bought a 40-foot, $600,000 tour bus. Monster Energy paid for it, by the way. Shout out to Monster Energy.
I'm so glad that worked out, by the way.
It worked out.
That's awesome.
Freaking awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, the CEO of Monster calls me up. He's like, we're in whatever the bus costs. But he goes, I want to have a sticker on the side of the bus that says fueled by Monster. I'm like, for $600,000,
done deal.
Done, bro.
Done
Are you
deal.
kidding me?
You're like, I'll wear only Monster t-shirts.
I'm like, I
Done
look like a
deal.
NASCAR driver, like only a Monster. So, the tour is called Creative Nation Tour, and you can get there by going to creativenationtour.com. So what I did is I go, all right, I'm going to do a free meetup every night, and I'm going to invite everybody in town, and there's going to be a family that I got from Family Promise, the charity I referenced earlier. So Family Promise will bring a family to me, and I'll go, all right, guys, we have 2 hours to find this family a house. And I will go start to finish. In less than 2 hours, I will show people all there. We're going to team up. So I've got like 15 of my leaders. I have a really big community, like the craziest size community ever.
And loyal.
And very loyal. So I go to them and I go, hey guys, I need 50 leaders in every town. And we're going to create 50 teams. And each team's going to compete to see which team can get this family a house faster than anybody else. So it's not going to be just me and helping that family. It's going to be me leading 50 teams. And we'll probably have 10 people per team. Our average meetup will be about 500 people. And we're just going to show people how to find a deal, like pull it up on the software, submit offers, get it under contract, and get that family into a house all within 2 hours. And I'll then wake up the next day in another city and do it 122 days in a row.
First of all, if you don't love this man after hearing that story, then just turn this whole damn thing off. Because how can you not love somebody that puts themselves out there, not just, for one individual, but then says, how do we scale this kind of love?
Yeah.
How do we scale this kind of impact? There's a lot of moving parts that goes behind a tour like this. We're going to talk about the tour in a little bit, but that just shows the kind of human being that you are and inspires other people to become successful as well, because they say, wait a minute, if I can be successful and have that kind of audience and that kind of capital, then I can do things like this too.
Yeah. You can do stuff like this. And I think also it just highlights to people that I've been on the YouTube, Instagram, that world. And, we get an average of 20 million views a month, which is nice. It's a good feeling. But I would rather have 100 people in a room that actually get to participate in the activity than 20 million people looking at it online, just because that's where it's the same thing with a mastermind. Like when people mastermind with you guys, they could watch 1,000 YouTube videos and not get the same value as 1 hour.
Entirely different.
It's
entirely different.
The molecule to molecule interaction is really where change is made.
You know what we should do with Hilton, founder of Monster? When I texted him, he was so kind to respond right away and be like, yes, let's hook it up. I didn't know that they're going to sponsor the whole bus like that.
Yeah.
No. I was like,
we got to have him come out to because he lives in SoCal by us. If you do something in Orange County, we got to have him come out for that. That'd be awesome.
So his girl that is like her job is the global, like philanthropy director.
I think it's Debbie, was it?
Yeah, Debbie. Yeah. And she's like, come out, let's do a YouTube video. We're going to send a truck full of Monster to every location. I'm like, that's 122 cities. She's like, we got you. Unless you're going to like Fargo, North Dakota, we probably won't be able to go.
We probably don't got you.
I go, we got Fargo, North Dakota on the thing. She's like, okay, I won't be able to help you there. But it's a massive connection. And they, I told her I don't want any money. And then she looked deeper into the thing. And thank you for that, by the way.
Of course.
Humongous,
of course.
Massive. And I had a conversation, then another conversation, and then a third conversation. She's like, let me get this straight. You're going to go and do all of this? Like, all right, who bought the bus? Who did this? Who did that? And I'm like, well, I'm doing it out of my pocket. She's like, no, you're not. We're going to figure out how to pay for the whole thing.
Yep.
I'm like, holy crap.
Wow.
So what happens when people like you get together with people like that? You guys can move absolute mountains.
Yeah, it's just crazy. To be honest with you, I'll tell you one of the biggest motivators behind it. I'm deathly afraid. Maybe you guys are in the same boat. I don't know. I'm deathly afraid of what AI and robotics are going to do in 5 years. Like, if you don't own real estate, if you don't own a business, and you don't create a moat around yourself in 5 years, like, what the hell are you going to be doing? And so I have this massive urgency that I'm just like, wake up, everybody. You need to get moving. Yet I feel like our United States has gotten lazier and lazier and lazier. Yep. And so I'm just trying to get out there in person and just shake everybody by the shoulders and go, look, if this homeless lady can do it, you can do it too. Hurry, 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 hurry. I think this will be the last tour I do anything like this, because I think it's just crazy. 4.5 months on the road with my wife and my kids.
That's wild.
What did your wife say?
My wife is gangster. She's like, cool. When do we go?
What do the kids say?
The kids are like, cool. Can we go to the American Doll store in Dallas, Texas?
You're probably gonna have to throw in the little stops and perks like that along the way.
Yeah, we're stopping in like Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. We're doing like 4 or 5 days in those locations, and we'll do Manhattan and New York for Christmas, which will be a lot of fun.
We were going to ask more about the tour later, but we're on the subject, so let's lean into it.
Yeah.
Where can people register to follow it?
It's completely free, not selling anything, just helping people in person. Even if you're not in real estate, come out and see it. It's going to be a spectacle. The only thing I will sell are tacos. And what I mean by that is we'll have like taco trucks and food trucks there so everybody can eat as well. It is called creativenationtour.com. 122 cities. Yes, we are coming to Canada. 3 stops in Canada. All of our Canadian friends are always like, you never come to Canada. So it starts in October, goes all the way through March.
That's awesome. Incredible.
What would feel like let's fast forward and the tour is over and you're debriefing at a dinner, maybe with your wife. Like, what would feel so good to be able to sit and say and reflect on?
Number one is we've helped 120 families. Number two, we've put Family Promise on the map so people know who Family Promise is. And then number three, we set the tone of the energy of that city, because what happens is when I go in to do things like this in cities, I've never done 122 days in a row. I've done 3 or 4 days in a row. What happens is the energy of that city, it sticks around for like a year and a half. And then everybody's doing the same thing over and over. They're vibing and hanging out and collaborating with each other. So what I'd love to see is those people really attached to Family Promise, even after I've gone and said, how do we help the next family? How do we help the next family? What Family Promise does is they find local churches that are not doing service Monday through Saturday. And they help these families live in these churches Monday through Saturday for free. And then they have to leave and sleep back in their cars on Sunday.
Wow.
And so these Family Promise nonprofits are all over the country. They're in every state. They need housing and they need affordable housing. They will actually pay the rent for these residences, but they can only afford like $800 a month. Where the hell are you going to live for $800 a month?
Right.
So, doing co-living is really the solution to that problem.
That's amazing.
Okay. So when someone asks exactly what you do, for anybody listening, how do you answer them?
Depends on who's asking. If I want to be funny, somebody will be like, what do you do? I'll go, I rent dirt, which is like, I own a lot of RV parks as well. So I just rent dirt. And it depends. Like if it's an older gentleman and he says, what do you do for a living? I would say, I help investors make a passive return, because I'm hoping he invests with me. I hope I can grab his money, go buy big buildings with it. If it's a young kid, I would say I have a sales organization that employs a lot of people because I'm hoping to recruit that young kid, 18, 25, whatever, to come and work for my company. But overall, I'm just a real estate investor. I acquire things with creative finance, and that's really the main thing. I have 9 companies. They all do something that ties in with each other. So if I buy real estate, I also own a title company. If I own a title company, I also do lending.
Mm-hmm.
My lending business is where I make probably the majority of my money, but I rarely talk about it. It's just tied in with all the other things I'm doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just found that like when I was doing so much creative finance, you'd run into a title company that goes, we don't know what that is. And I go, man, this is ridiculous. Like, let me just start my own. Then I started a title company. I'm in 43 states. And then I found that people were constantly running into money problems. Like, I want to buy or flip this house, or I want to do this, that, and the other. But my lender bailed out on me last minute. I go, I'll just start a lending company. So I've just gone vertically integrated.
Vertical integration.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the best. What, here you are going on tour, and that means you're going to leave these 9 businesses behind.
Mm-hmm.
What are your tips for getting in a position to be able to do that so that they keep running?
Oh, yeah. Fire yourself a long time ago. So a couple things I do that's maybe unorthodox is, one, I hire really good people. That's not unorthodox, but what I do is I make my leads in my companies own 20% of everything that I do.
Okay.
So let's say I go buy an RV park, for example. We just bought a $5 million RV park a couple of weeks ago. Sell all seller finance, which is great. So no banks. I give 20% of that to my top 12 people. And so if they stick with me past 7 years, that 20%, as it grows, appreciates, I distribute that 20% to those top 12 people. So you give them ownership mentality. Instead of saying, hey, I'm going to give you a raise, and if you work really hard, it's like, how about this? If you stick around and the company hits its numbers and we grow and I don't have to be here, you get 20% of this company. So everything we buy, every product we create, every single thing we do, they all have ownership in it. So as it rises, then what I do is I train them on what my job is. My job is not to be in here. I'm Ronald McDonald.
Mm-hmm.
I should be on the billboard. I should not be flipping the burgers. If I was in the kitchen, you're going to be tripping over my big ass red shoes.
Yep.
You don't want me in here. I'm going to create chaos. You guys need me out of the office. Get me out there, being on the billboard, being on the stages, etc. And when I do that, we all make more money. And so I think a lot of employees don't really truly understand what a visionary's job is. And a visionary, Ronald McDonald is a visionary. Elon Musk is a visionary. He should not be at the warehouse every day. He should be on podcasts. He should be branding the companies. He should be flying around, hanging out with diplomats and doing all that kind of stuff. And when your team understands why that benefits them and how that benefits them, then they full on buy in. When I was like, gosh, I shouldn't be in the office. I should be out, blah, 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 blah. It's like, why don't they get it? Oh, because you've never stopped and explained it to them. So I whiteboard when new people come into our exec team. I whiteboard to them why it's a problem if I'm in the office and how they make more money when I'm out of the office.
That's interesting because the 20% thing, by sheer coincidence, my startup fellow, my business partner, Matt, and I, instead of keeping all the equity for ourselves, we carved out 20% right away. We gave it to all of the founding execs.
Smart.
So that they had that skin in the game to be able to go and, give their all to this, the sleepless nights, everything to get this thing off the ground. So it's interesting that that's your pattern as well. What's the hardest thing for you as a visionary to let go of?
Okay. So I do this every year, and the last week of the year, I sit down with my COO, her name's Molly, and we go through my whole entire calendar from the last year. And we write down 100 things that I did more than one time. So if I did it twice, we write it down.
Give an example.
Waiting in an airport.
Okay.
Like, why am I waiting in an airport for 2 hours? Like, if it's on my calendar is like blocked out minute by minute by minute. Why are you waiting in an airport over and over? Like, why was that not scheduled better? Why wasn't that blah, 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 blah? You shouldn't be sitting in these situations. Or a good example would be yesterday. A couple of days ago, I was in Jersey. So I meet with Gary Vee in the morning. I then go to Brooklyn to meet with some company called WAP. I then go to this company back over in Harlem. And you look at the pattern of like how it was scheduled out. And my COO will look at that and go, we wasted 4 hours of your day. And so those types of things. And we'll go and we'll spend a whole week together between Christmas and New Year's, which is like the slowest part of the year. You can actually sit down and have these meetings. And she will then, her job every year is to eliminate 75 of those and then figure out what are the 25 that made the company the most money that I did.
Dang.
And she'll go, these are the only 25 things you can do this year.
Yeah.
And you need to get better at them. And so then I go to masterminds.
Yep.
I go invest in those 25 things. So
Yep.
one of those things would be storytelling.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm a good storyteller, then my company makes more money.
Right.
Okay, well, Molly knows that. So Molly says, you need to go pay to learn how to be a better storyteller. So I'll then go join masterminds to go get better at those 25 things that are written down specifically for me. Then she takes those 25 things to the rest of the team and go, if it doesn't have to do with any of these 25 things that Pace is supposed to be doing, please don't ever go to Pace. Don't ask Pace a question. If you can't get a hold of me, whatever else, these are the only 25 things Pace should be thinking about every single day. Because she understands, I told her, I said, I'm a tool for you.
Yep.
I'm a drill, I'm a shovel. I don't know what you want to call me, but I am a tool for you to make more money. You need to sharpen me. You need to make me better. You need me free me up from doing all the things. And she made this funny joke. She's like, you ever used a drill as not only a drill, but then you turn around and use the bottom of it as a hammer? She's like, that's not what they're meant to be used for. She goes, the company is using you for way too many things. Like I've used a drill to open a box, like just take the thing and cut the tape. I've used a drill to screw in a screw, pull things out. I've used a drill to punch through things. I've used a drill to like smash the bottom of a hammer. And she's like, we want to use you specifically what you're good for. So I have a girl that gets paid incredibly well to keep me out of the way of all of the things. And then to articulate the rest of the team, like Pace loves you and he appreciates you, but that dude needs to focus on these 25 things and nothing else.
Man, she's an MVP, isn't she?
She's an MVP. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You've mentioned so many times masterminds, environment. From the beginning, you talked about getting your brother out of the environment he was in, trying to help Maddie get into a different environment. You know, I even heard on a podcast talking about your first marriage and just being in a different mindset of somebody who doesn't support where you're at. Tell me how you feel about environment. And then how are you going to also help them kind of keep that environment up after that?
The cool thing about our community is we hang out we have 39 Zooms a week. And so we spend a lot
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I just was like time zones, and then people have different work schedules. And I just go, how do I just make our community available 14 hours a day across all the time zones?
How many of those are you on?
I'm on 7 or 8, just depending on what I want to do. And then I have other high-level leaders who are on the rest of the Zooms, and they're on various topics. So like some people come in and go, I want to learn about RV parks. We have 2 Zooms about RV parks, et cetera. So that's been going on for 5 years. And so that's why our community is so loyal and so vibrant and like energetic. So I don't worry about them changing their vibration after I leave. But I also do, one thing I do really, really well is I do the thing that Jesus did. Not saying I'm Jesus at all, but I watched what Jesus did. What did Jesus do? Jesus says, I can't do all this on my own. So I'm going to go find 12 disciples.
Yep.
Well, I have a lot more disciples. I have amazing leaders. I have about 5,000 leaders nationwide.
Wow.
About 100 of them in every state, almost 50, 25 to 50 of them per big city. And so I don't really have to worry about that vibration staying there because they do meetups every single week or every other week, even when I'm not there.
Yeah.
So I don't need to worry about that. But all of them came to my mastermind, or all of them came to my world, and I injected that energy into them. Where did I get that energy? Well, I got that from other masterminds.
Yep.
And like you guys run a mastermind, I'm sure you guys run into clients that, they want to invest. They want to invest in themselves. They want to be in your mastermind, but they have a spouse or they have a thing back at home that's like, why are you going to a mastermind? Type of thing. I was that same dude. I was the guy, I was a blue collar guy that, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And if it's going to get done, it's going to get done by me. So I had a blue collar mentality that why would I pay anybody for education? Like I'm going to figure it out on my own, type of thing. And then I got a mentor at age 27 by force.
Who was it?
Steve Mikesta made me hire a guy named John Bohm.
Okay.
So Steve Mikesta, loan officer, #1 in the state, #5 in the country. And I went on and I became a loan officer on his team. And he says, everybody on my team has to have a personal one-on-one coach, and you have to invest $500 per hour on this coach or else you're off my team.
Wow.
And in my mind, I'm like, 500.
You're like, this is so dumb.
This is the dumbest shit ever. What are you talking about? So I pull up, I invest the $500 to this guy named John Bohm. And, he goes, all right, meet me in my office. Here's my office. Sends me an address. I pull up to the address. it's a Starbucks building. I'm like, this mother just took me for $500.
Yeah.
And I walk in and I just like begrudgingly, sit down. And within 3 minutes, this guy changed my life.
Wow.
3 minutes. He called me out on my bullshit. He called me out on my this and that. He goes, you're out of alignment with your assignment. I'm like, what does that mean? He says, you were put on this earth to do this, 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 and this. Why are you doing this, this, and this? And I could tell very authentically he was talking to me. He wasn't giving me like a canned response. And at the end of the hour, I was just like, I could not wait to come back. I felt like everybody else in life, like my mom, my dad, my parents, they all had like an interest in telling me what I should be doing with my life. Partly because I don't know if you've experienced this with your father, but I think a lot of men experience like your dad's going to invest time and energy into you to a point that you get certain like success to a certain level. But at some point, A, he can't help you anymore beyond that. Or B, he secretly doesn't want you to be more successful than him. And this was the first guy that I felt like was non-biased, gave me honest advice, and gave me clear direction that I could follow within an hour. Wow. I was like, can I give you a $500 tip? Literally and my life changed from that point. This guy ended up, he fired me 6 months later because he went and got hired as the head mindset coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Yeah, he was that good.
Dang.
And so that changed my life.
Hell of a bargain at $500 an hour.
I know.
Look back.
He was undercharged. His team reached out to me recently because I reached out and I was like, hey, I haven't connected with John in a while. Like, what's he charging? I'd love to sit down with him. And they were like, he's $10,000 an hour. I was like, worth it. Sign me up. I'd love to just connect with him for an hour.
Yep.
Anyway, so I saw the fruits of my labor. I'll tell you, the second time I sat down with him, this was an interesting part of the story of masterminding and like paying for coaching. I walk into that same Starbucks. He's sitting down looking at the door. I'm walking in and he stands up and he says, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. I was like, I'm fired. I'm fired. What are you talking about? I just got here. He goes, yeah, but I can tell you didn't do your homework.
Wow.
I go, how can you tell? He goes, I can tell by the way you're walking, by the way you're this, I can you didn't do your homework. I can see it in the way your shoulders leaned here.
Wow.
Your confidence level's not at an all-time high. If you had done your homework from last session, you would have walked in here just with gusto. Get the hell out of here.
Wow.
So I begged him. I begged this guy, please give me this last hour. I will do whatever. He goes, okay, we're going to do this session. And instead of me teaching you, now we have to do this homework together. Pull out your gosh damn phone. We're going to do the homework together right now, like a child.
Yeah.
You paid me $500 to babysit you like a bitch. I'm like, oh my gosh. Sometimes you need to be called out on your crap.
For sure.
So he makes me pull out my phone. The thing he told me to do at the time, I was like Open Door, OfferPad, and Zillow were the big companies I was working for. I was a contractor and I was doing all their construction, but I was doing it where I was picking up the phone, doing the estimates, collecting the bills, I was doing all
everything.
The hats. Okay. We've all been there. Right. And he told me to hire somebody. Guys, I was taking home, this sounds so stupid. I was taking home $1 million a year at age 28, working as a contractor. And I was fearful of spending $3,000 a month on an employee.
Wow. Where'd that money mindset fear come from? Do you know?
Yeah, my dad. I watch my dad still to this day. My dad literally texted me last week. He saw me. I was on Tony Robbins' stage like 3 months ago. My dad's always loved Tony Robbins. He's like, man, I just, he starts asking me questions like, how have you built this? How have you done the thing? My dad's 67, 68, still sprays cabinets. Every employee he's ever hired, he scares them out. He yells at them. He doesn't delegate well. And so my dad I watched it. My dad, anytime he found a new employee, he would sabotage that relationship with that employee to the point where it's like his own belief system was that he didn't deserve that level of success. And so he would sabotage himself back to where he believed he deserved to be. So what did I learn? I learned have bad partnerships and don't delegate. And if you do delegate, do it temporarily, just long enough you can complain and blame somebody else. That's what I learned. John Boehm fixed that in me in 1 month.
Wow.
He forces me right there in that second session to hire somebody. I go on Craigslist. I hire a girl named Anna Martinez. I hire her. Guys, this was so crazy about hiring too. Like, I didn't realize that there's somebody on the other end of the hiring process, an employee, that's praying to God for an opportunity that you are stupidly not offering because you're afraid of hiring somebody. This girl, Anna, I call her, she calls me off the Craigslist ad that John Boehm basically has to make me do. And she calls me up. She goes, I want the job. I have experience. She didn't. And I'm ready to start tomorrow. Great. Are you in Arizona? Yes. She's not. So she drives all night long, guys, with her 2 kids in her car to start the next day.
Wow.
From California to Arizona. This woman triples my business in the next 30 days.
Jeez.
How? Picking up the gosh dang phone.
Yeah.
Like I'm my phone's in my pocket. Like, you know, I'm on a podcast right now, but at the time I wasn't doing podcasts. So I'm doing an estimate with one customer and I can't pick up a phone from another customer. Obvious shit.
Yeah.
Like what?
But you never thought to mitigate that.
I was afraid of hiring somebody because it cost money. It cost, well, I could reinvest that same $3,000 into my business. Oh my gosh. Now today, between all my companies, I have 600 employees. John Bohm, thank you, bro. The best money I ever spent in my entire life was with a coach. By far, the best money I've ever spent was investing in myself and educating and like erasing all the mindset stuff. And then I got into masterminds, right? And like groupthink and getting in the frequency. Like you guys will hold your mastermind at your house, right?
We do all
some
different.
there, and then some are a little bit bigger. Yeah.
Okay, so like the fact that somebody at your level would invite people in their home is an insane opportunity because you can see how people live. Like when did you guys grow up rich?
No.
Okay. So we didn't even know growing up what rich people lived like.
Yeah, no clue.
Right? No clue. Good example, getting around the right people. So like 10 years ago, I told my wife, we need a nanny. We need a nanny. We need a nanny. We really need a nanny. You should be working on these other things and you shouldn't Okay, great. She could hear that all day long, right? Then one day we go to dinner with Dean Graziosi and Lisa Graziosi.
Yep.
And Lisa and my wife are on the other end of the table and they're having a conversation. You know, they're 10 feet away and I can hear the words, no, nanny. No, nanny. Nanny. I'm like, oh, good. They're having a nanny conversation. So I'm talking to Dean and then my wife and I are driving home and my wife goes, you know, I think I have a good idea. I think we should get a nanny.
You're like, that is a great idea.
That was my answer. I didn't say, I've been telling you this.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a great way to fail, man.
Yep.
Really
I said,
is.
sweetheart, that's such a great idea. How can I support you in that idea, right? But it didn't come from me. It came from her peer.
Yeah, totally.
And it's the same thing when people go to your mastermind. They get around people that are on the same frequency, on the same trajectory, or at least wanting to be on the same trajectory. They're not being judged for wanting to grow.
Yep.
We've all been around friends and family members from the past that are like, wait, what, Lori, why do you want to grow more? What do you need more for? What You should slow down. What are you talking about? God put me on a mission on this planet. I should not be slowing down. In fact, I should not be hanging out with you. Right? And where do we get that energy? It's 100% of the time it comes from masterminds that I go to.
Okay, I want to dig into that for a second because that hits such a vein for me and my family and having to like break out of that pattern. And I was raised in a really restrictive religion where it was frowned upon to make money. And
what religion
I
would
was
this
Jehovah's
be?
Witness. So
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, I just hung out a whole day with Jehovah's Witness member
man, the money
other day.
mentality is real. And I was from a very small town, like teeny tiny. So the congregation that I was in was like literally 114 people, and the way that they thought and couldn't hang out with anyone who was worldly. And this is how I grew up. So like what I thought was possible was only what I saw within that. And we were very much like trailer home population was most of that congregation from a very small town.
What city is this?
Marquette, Michigan, upper Michigan. So not even lower Michigan, like up in the woods.
So you were an Uber.
Oh, yeah.
Uber,
Yep.
yes.
Yep. Okay, got it.
So for me, like seeing anything outside of that, when I started having these different dreams, it was very much like, it wasn't just, we're going to say mean things to you to try to get you to stay or be like, who do you think you are? It was like, you are going to be cast out. Like you're not going to be a part of this family or religion anymore.
Which is really scary because human beings have this tribal mentality of
oh my gosh, it's survival.
Like your whole, like your amygdala and everything in your brain is like, Lori, this is like,
you're going to die.
Against survival. You're going to die. The tribe is going to cast you out.
For sure. And I watched it happen. You know, I watched it over and over. So for people who are in a situation, maybe not even that intense, but it feels like that. It feels like that. If someone's listening to you right now and they're like, oh my God, I really want to do this. I feel like I'm made for this, but I'm about to go through this with my family. I have to break these patterns, the way that my dad thinks, what they're about to say. Like, How do you start to deal with like knowing you're not a bad person and moving through all of that stuff?
By kind of moving on from your family.
Yeah.
Did you have the same problem growing up?
My family was really supportive of dreams and dreaming. It was a very different environment than Lori grew up in.
It's good that you guys got together then.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep.
You have no idea how much belief I've borrowed from this human being.
Yeah,
Like,
it's awesome.
yeah, it's been life-changing.
Jehovah's Witness also, which is interesting. Like every religion is weird.
Yeah, for sure.
My religion's weird. Every one of them is weird. I'm Mormon, so like I got a list of 50 weird things that we could go through. But like you guys also don't believe in like blood transfusions.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which is like when you really get into like that level of belief of like you're dying, but we're not taking blood from another human being.
I carried a little blood card when I was young that was like no blood, no
Isn't
matter
that crazy?
what. Mm-hmm.
Now, every religion has amazing aspects to it.
Mm-hmm.
But the bad aspect of a religion is that the people in that religion will beat you down.
Yes.
The church might be perfect, but the people definitely are not.
And that's what we found. It was like, and it's different from place to place, I'm sure, with the Mormon religion too. Like sometimes they're way more strict over here and way less strict over in this one. Like it's very different from place to place that you go because the people are different. The leadership is different.
I was 30 years old playing golf with my friends and I ordered an Arnold Palmer.
Mm.
Okay. Anybody that doesn't know what an Arnold Palmer is, lemonade and iced tea.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
My friend Tyler, Mormon, walks over to me. He says, I'm 30, by the way. He says, I thought your mom raised you better than that.
Oh,
like,
wow.
For what? He goes, you're having tea. Mormons aren't allowed,
The
not allowed
caffeine,
to have
right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like the tannins inside of tea as well that will like stain your organs. I'm like, get
Oh my
the
gosh.
fudge out of here, bro. Oh my gosh. That was the last time I talked to Tyler. And Tyler, you've texted me multiple times and I've ignored your text message. I'm going to continue to ignore your text messages.
I love this shout
will
out
have
on the
zero,
podcast.
I will have zero negativity in
Poor
my life.
Tyler.
Poor Tyler. So I would tell you, it's even, I had breakfast with Gary Vee a couple days ago, and he's talking about this big, massive thing he's working on. And when you're around people that are lunatics about their goals and they're so passionate about their goals, it really makes you start realizing how small you are.
Mm.
And it makes you have this feeling of like, how dare I not think bigger? I think when you listen to other people's goals, it gives you permission. I'll give you a good example. A good friend of mine here locally, his name's Steve Trang. Steve Trang is a real estate dude. Probably 10 years ago, he says to me, he goes, yeah, and I, blah, 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 blah. I opened up a title company. I look at him, I go, we can do that? He goes, yeah, bro, like you can just do stuff. And I'm like, okay, much like coming from your little town, how many times have maybe this man or other people in your environment, especially in Scottsdale, they go do stuff and you're like, oh, we can just do that?
Yeah. Just one dinner with people can change your whole life.
Oh my God, which is crazy to think about, like where you came from, how you probably still have a little bit of that residual that you have to continually remind yourself, like, and now the full circle, you're running masterminds and getting people out of their mindset chains and all of that kind of stuff, which is freaking so cool.
I know that's why I'm here, is because I like really experienced the prison that we can create for ourselves. And it feels so real. Feels very real when you're in it. And then all of a sudden you do get around expanders like yourself and it just blows the roof off. It's like you make it so possible for people. That's why I'm so excited about your tour and what you're about to do. Because that's going to be what happens over and over, is because in your body, it's so real. And to you, it's so simple because you've done it so many times. And to everybody listening, like it doesn't take some massive like college or, sometimes it doesn't even take like a year or a month. Sometimes it can be as little as being in your energy. I think of that even with Gary Vee. Sometimes I listen to one Gary Vee podcast and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking do everything. I'm just like blows the lid off. And so I'm excited for you that you are taking that 120 days to just go impact in person.
Thanks for listening. And if you loved this episode and know of someone else who is as successful as they are generous, please pass them on to me. It would mean the world to me if you help me get this cause and this message out to as many listeners as I can. So please, if you liked what you heard, it goes a long way if you take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review and share this with your friends. I'll be forever grateful. And until the next episode, cheers to your success.